All right, so it is noon, I believe, right? Noon, something like that. But basically, I've been up for a bit, but I've been kind of busy. And so now I'm like taking a break. Right now, Noelle's at um, the studio, and she is really trying to close up the rest of the year. So what we're doing is that even though it's still, we have a little bit before the first of the year, we wanted to make sure that we have a few weekends or a couple of weekends to ourselves. And so I told her, I said, just close. Like, the best thing to do is for us to be able to limit the amount of potential exposure to the sickness. And that's the reason why we've actually cut back on the number of days that we're there to begin with. But the other part is to just make sure that, in terms of closing this weekend, is so that we have more family time, right? Now, I don't know when the weather in Washington's strange. You may never get snow. You may get a little bit of snow. You never really know. It's such a crazy. Typically, rain is guaranteed, but other than that, you don't really know. Typically, when it does snow, if it's gonna snow, it'll be February. I don't know, and then it stays cold until it gets closer to May. But anyhow, you're not here to hear the weatherman, right? You're here to listen to this particular video. This person says, "Hi, HershNoeie. I have a girlfriend who is wanting to be on Onlyfans." If you don't know what Onlyfans is, it's basically a website where folks can get on there and people can subscribe to them and they pay a fee. My only issue with this is that she is doing what I call lightcore PORN, because essentially she is nude in this, and by nude, not exclusively. I guess they're saying that not exactly, but they're saying that she has on like string bikinis and stuff like that, and dances and stuff. So he says, I don't really like this. I tell her that I don't like it. However, she tells me that it's her body. She can do whatever she wants. And basically, I just have to deal with it. What is your take on the OnlyFans in this particular situation? Asking for a friend. That's a good question, right? Now, I've noticed that recently OnlyFans have taken off quite a bit. Now, let me first say I'm definitely not a subscriber to OnlyFans. Not anything wrong with people who do subscribe to that. I just don't pay for stuff like that. Like, I just don't see the point. Back when I was younger, me and my friends would go to the place where women take their clothes off, right? Back when I was like getting, 21 to like 24, 23, 24, something like that. And then every now and again, and points in between that. But after I got to like 30, I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what's the point? I mean, like, if you've seen one place, you've seen them all. Like, not my thing. Not my thing anymore, right? Nothing wrong with people who do go. Nothing wrong with people who work there. It's just not my thing, right? Now, if I were to go to another country, I might go and see how different it is. But as far as here, anywhere in the U.S., is like, the OnlyFans thing, I don't get it, because everything that people are making you pay for, you can get for free. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that. I don't get it. A lot of folks on YouTube, and I know about OnlyFans because there's some people on YouTube. People on YouTube that want to show some stuff. YouTube does not like that. Right? They don't really like that if you show too much of that and that's all you show, and they demonetize it. They'll allow you to keep it up. But they're claiming to protect their advertisers, but instead, YouTube will advertise at the beginning and end of the video, so they're still getting money. But the person creating the stuff isn't getting any money. So I don't think that it's really the advertisers most of the time. I think that's an excuse that YouTube uses to basically control what people post, honestly. I don't think it has anything to do with advertisers because there's so much stuff out here that you can see. There's channels that talk about everything that's bad, and YouTube doesn't do anything. And that is worse than showing a partial nipple. But it has nothing to do with advertisers. It's mainly YouTube's way of trying to appease certain areas and to control what goes onto the format. It's their thing. I think at the end of the day, one day YouTube will be replaced. They all do, right? It just takes a matter of time. They've got a big corner of the market, but eventually they will get replaced. And there are other smaller carriers out there that are not like that, where they demonetize you with the quickness, the way the YouTube does. They're notorious for that, right? So a lot of these people are going to OnlyFans because they're able to do and show things. Now, I've kind of done something. I'm not on OnlyFans. Like, what would I show? My toes? That's gross. No offense to people who like it, but you wouldn't want to see that. So I have Discord, and that's why I mention Discord often, and please join our Discord, is because on Discord, I can say things and not have to worry about issues from YouTube. You see what I'm saying? And it's not like I'm saying anything that's really harsh or wrong or anything like that. It's just that YouTube it puts you in a very, very tiny box, and you have to always stay in that box. And if you go right on the line, then there's a problem. And so it really takes the fun out of it. It's much more constructive if they would definitely protect against hate speech, which is still common on here. It would be helpful if they did that, but still allow people to have a healthy discourse, right? To be able to talk about things. And so on our Discord channel, it's pretty cool because we're able to do that. We talk about everything. And if there's something you don't want to talk about, you don't say anything, right? So to me, it's just much more constructive. We ask how each other is doing, what our plans are. People ask questions. They talk about different things. It's really, really cool. And that's the way I think social media was intended to be. Nonetheless, with your particular issue, I remember when on Periscope, which they're doing away with, Twitter, I think, owns Periscope, and they're doing away with Periscope. And that's what these companies do. I'll get off my rant on social media companies, but they take away the fun. So then you're stuck with their stale company, right? There were companies that were created by people who really had a drive for something, and they were startups, and they really had a great vision and a great plan. And there's other companies that come along that's been around for a while that doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but they just sit there and they create the same stuff. And because they're so big and everybody is there with them, it gives them a lot of leverage. Facebook, Starbucks. Teavana used to be an amazing company to go and to get all types of teas. It was really cool. It was kind of high end, kind of. And then Starbucks took it away or bought them because they feared competition. And Starbucks don't really do teas, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're coffee. But yet you take away something that is a good company and you absorb it into your portfolio, especially at a time when retail businesses are lacking. So the fact that Teavana is gone, that pissed me off. Like, after that, I didn't buy much from Starbucks anyway. But, excuse me, all nasally. But it's just the whole principle of the thing. Like, why would you do that? It's just stupid. It's stupid. And then Facebook, they buy up everything. Instagram, and then they make it into trash. You don't have that hunger that these other startups had. It's like the beginning artist. The beginning artist that's trying really hard is hungry for it. And so they put some of their best stuff out there. Some of their best albums are at the very beginning, and then later on it's trash. but they're best stuff. And the ones that have continuously had good stuff throughout their whole history shows that that hunger never left, and they're a good product, or they make a good product. And that's the same thing with some of these companies. Some of these little startups, that hunger never changes, but then someone buys them that doesn't really care. They're only about money. They're not about the consumer. Facebook, Google, and it just turns to crap. Well, Periscope, when it was big and popular, Brie Olson was on there, right? Brie Olson was in the news, and she is a former adult film star, all that stuff, right? And so she wanted to go on My Free Cams or something like that, right? None of these things do I purchase because, again, I don't see the personally, I don't see the point in it, right? It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But whatever people want to do, that's their business. So at the time, there were people who were upset, other women who were upset because they're like, this is someone who's already very wealthy, but they don't know what her bank account is. But Brie Olson was up there in terms of the past adult women who made a lot of money. And they're like, we're just struggling trying to make it. And then now you get on here and everybody's going to go over to you. So there's a finite number of target audience, and there's a finite number of dollars that are here. And if we're all equal and we're fighting amongst each other, that's one thing. But then you bring someone famous in and all of the attention's going to go there, right? Well, no one's joining My Free Cams like they used to. It's not the talk of the day, right? You don't really hear it much. It kind of fizzled. And then this Onlyfans came out. And the My Free Cams, I guess, was mainly cam girls and stuff. But really, OnlyFans is kind of the same thing, I guess. So now OnlyFans is this big thing, and everybody is doing it. There's people on Facebook have an OnlyFans. There's folks on YouTube channels that I watch, OnlyFans. I'm like, what? It was funny because when we were doing our cohort program with with an organization, one of the leaders of that, she was saying maybe she should do OnlyFans and show her feet. Because that's where I got the whole show my toes on there. Show her feet, because everybody's flocking to it and people making a lot of money, right? So that's my whole thing behind all of that, right? I don't personally get it. There are people who do, and there are people who buy the services, right? And that's their business. That's their right. And anyone that wants to join this thing or be a part of it in any way, that's their business. I heard recently Cardi B is on there, right? Now, Cardi B makes plenty of money. And no, she's probably not on there showing much. But it's like, you make plenty of money. That's where I guess I'm against greed. I guess I'm one of those people that I'm just against the whole greed thing. Just try to just wring out every bit, every opportunity, just wring it out, and no one else gets a chance. I don't get that. You're a millionaire, go sit down. There are people out here who are single parents who are trying to get basic food in the door. Maybe they got laid off. And I don't know the circumstance with your girlfriend, but there are people who, especially during this time, got laid off. They don't want to be out here walking the street. Nobody's hiring. On YouTube, you have to hit a certain point before you make money. Then you may not make anything. You know what I mean? Like, what else can you do that's legal that's going to get you some money where you can at least be safe? So a lot of people are turning to that because there's very few options. And the ones who have too much of who don't want to do this type of thing, there are women out there who don't want to do this type of thing, and that's totally fine. They're just screwed. If you're a woman and you got laid off and you don't want to do something like this, and there's no prospect, you're just sitting there biting your nails at night thinking about if you can keep the lights on. And if you're a dude, you're just screwed anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, dudes, we know nobody's going to pay us to do anything. So if we're out of a job, we're just screwed. under a bridge we go. But when it comes to women, this OnlyFans thing, yeah, I mean, I understand your concern, but that's kind of the circumstance as to why some are doing it. Now, I also get that you're saying like, hey, I prefer that you not do that type of thing because I would feel the exact same way. And when you're with someone and they say, you know what, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to. And I would say you are exactly right. But you can leave, or I'll leave. And you can do exactly what you want because everything has a repercussion. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that we are in this period where, you know, I think some women feel like they don't have a certain amount of independence and that, you know, I'm just going to hit everything with a heavy hand because there has been historically, and it's not just women, people of color too, historically there's been so much oppression. Some of those things have been chiseled away, but there's still folks that feel like, let me hit with a heavy hand because they feel like that's what's going to work in terms of putting them where they need to be. Sometimes a heavy hand, you close your eyes when you hit and you don't see the opportunity in front of you. You miss it because you're so concerned that history will keep repeating itself. And I'm not saying that there's not systematic issues that hold many people back, because there is. But I think sometimes the approach can be wrong. The approach of, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to, you are right. But if you're with someone who did not agree to this to begin with, you didn't start off dating, if she didn't start off dating you and she wasn't in this type of industry, and then all of a sudden she gets into it, she needs to also take into consideration your feelings about it. Now, some people say that's controlling people, but here's the thing. If you wanted to go out here and be a stripper, a male stripper, then she should not have anything to say about that. See, I'm always about equality. Because what's good for one should be good for the other. You see what I'm saying? Now, people will sit here and split hairs and say, well, you know, she's doing it from the comfort of her home and you're going to be out in public. There may be people touching and whatever. Sadate. Sadate. I can't, you as a guy, you can get on OnlyFans and get this many people to watch you. As a woman, you can get on there and you'll get a whole bunch of people watching. Potentially. So it's not your fault that that's the way society is, but that's just how it is. So if you wanted to be a male stripper and she doesn't like it, just say, well, that's just too bad. It's too bad. Not my fault that the only way I can make it is I have to go into a place and be there. That's how I look at it. And sometimes, you know, like I remember Noelle went to Portland for a convention. And she probably won't like that I tell this story, but it's just true. And Noelle went to this convention in Portland, and she doesn't know hardly anyone there, right? The people, there's a group of women that she saw there that she has seen before at other conventions because they all go to the same conventions at these cities all the time. So she knows them from seeing them previously, but we're talking a year or so before that. And they were going to meet up someplace downtown, farther from where she was. So in her hotel, they had a bar and everything, but they wanted to meet up at their hotel bar. And then maybe go to some places nearby. And so she was like, well, I'm going to go and go to that. And I said, but where is it? Because what I told her is Portland is not racially friendly. I'm sorry. And now some people may disagree. That ain't true because there's just been so much in the news. And there are parts of downtown that are not really super safe. There's parts of downtown Seattle that's not super safe. I've talked about that. Especially as a woman walking by yourself and you've had some drinks. Duh. I mean, I would even say if you're a single woman walking by yourself in downtown Tacoma and you've had a few drinks, that's probably not a smart decision, right? So it's not like me. You know, I've walked around downtown Seattle on third, different places. And, had a couple. That's different. I've had people, hey man, how's it going? Homeless folks, hey bruh, giving them daps and everything. So I had a few. That's different because I'm a 6 foot tall big dude. Like, it's different. It is a different thing. Was I by myself? Yeah. Are there things that you should worry about? Yeah. But there are also, I have a little bit of, it wasn't like I grew up hood, but like I have a little bit of street knowledge, right? Like I can kind of assess a certain, a situation and be like, okay, this is probably not a good idea, or okay, this is all right, or okay, hey, this is a little bit worrisome. And so it's like, it's just different. That's just how it is. It's not my fault. Well, I told her, I said, I don't think you should do that because it's not a good idea. It's not safe, not a wise thing. When are you coming back? Well, I should be able to do whatever I want to do. And, I'm an adult. I don't think she said she was an adult, but basically she felt like I was trying to be controlling. And I'm like, look, I don't care if you go and get a big old thing of tequila and just knock it back and pass out and your stomach hurts for a week. I don't care. And I don't care if you have like 15, 20, 30 people that you went to the convention, have the whole convention floor. You all go and have drinks until 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't care about that. But don't be stupid about it. And stupid would be getting drunk with people you don't know, walking across a big swath of downtown you don't know very well, because you've only been there twice. At that point, you don't know very well. It's easy to get lost. You don't know who's where. And you're going to be walking by yourself. They're not going to walk with you. Don't be stupid. This is not a time to sit here and plant a flag and say, I'm independent. You can independently get hurt pretty bad. And it happens often. So, yeah, it's like I think that this whole idea of I'm independent should be thought out. And I said this with many different things. When it comes to young black men, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of things to be mad about, but think before you act. Be smart about it. Don't be stupid and just be like, whoa, man, there's a lot of this and that. I'm just going to do whatever. I'm just going to hit it with a heavy hand. I'm my own person. Yeah, you're right. You are your own person. There's a lot of things that suck. But live to fight another day. Don't be stupid. Any idiot can go out here and get themselves killed over something stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be stupid. And so I think that when in a circumstance like this, someone's taking their relationship and saying, you know what? Either you accept me and let me do what I want to do, or I'm, that's just too tough. And I think that the response should be, look, let's have a conversation about this. It's not about controlling you. It's about a situation of saying it's not something I'm really comfortable with. And that's your right as a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or a girlfriend. If someone's not comfortable with you showing your boobs, your butt, your other stuff, then that's their right to say, hey, I'm not cool with that. It's not like the first day you met them, this is what they did. This is something they started doing afterwards. And yeah, money may be tight, but I would say, you know what, hey, I'll go and see if I can find a part-time job or something. Or maybe, we'll figure something out, but try to do something else. So I agree with you. I think that if you're in a relationship and the other person's not comfortable with that, it shouldn't be like suck it up, buttercup, because that's not right. I think that is very insensitive to someone that you supposedly love. That's not love. If you can't really understand that someone is saying, like, I personally, and it's not jealousy, it's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. I'm telling you that I don't feel comfortable with it. And that's what I told Noelle. This isn't about jealousy. There's not a person walking around on this planet that I'm jealous of. And it's not about that. It's about a respect thing. I don't want to sit here and worry all night that something could happen to you, and you're at least a good hour and a half away. There's a lot that can happen in an hour and a half. And there's nothing I can do. And you're a mother. You have 3 kids. And whenever the other kid, and I just said, to the girls, like, she went from one side of downtown to the other by herself, and she went out with some people she didn't know, and they were saying, Zoe's like, why would you do that? That's so dangerous. Then Noelle was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Because Zoe and Zara both were like, that's scary, Mama. Why would you do that? So it's like sometimes people won't listen, especially if it's a husband. Now you're dating, but wait until you get married. 9 times out of 10, 9 of the things you say, your wife is not going to listen to. It may be that one time that she will, but 9 out of the 10, she's not going to listen to you, right? And sometimes it's like, whatever. I'm like, I'll pick my battles. And this was one battle that I picked. This was the one time I picked that battle. It wasn't about paint colors. It wasn't about where we go on vacation. This was a battle that I'm like, no, you have a lot to lose. Why do something like that? You know what I mean? Think about it. Like, yeah, I know you want to have fun, but have fun responsibly. And in this circumstance, to know that she wants to be able to make some money, because right now things are so uncertain. You got clowns in the Congress that really and truly are just batting around egos. You know what I mean? Like it's just basically a tennis match of batting egos across the taxpayer floor there. And meanwhile, you have people who are out here, basically suckers, all of us, paying taxes in so that they can keep playing a game. And then we get screwed. So I get it. I get it. Her company isn't making any money. She's probably not, I don't know. And she needs money for bills and everything else. But I think that you have a good point to stand on. I don't have an issue with people who choose OnlyFans, right? But I think that if someone takes the notion or the stance of deal with it, then that's not really a person that respects you as a person or respects your relationship. You see what I'm saying? And it's different if you just started the relationship versus you've been in it for a while. That's different too. But I've learned things over time that there are people to avoid. No matter how great certain aspects of things are, there are people that you need to avoid. And I've learned now, not only people in an intimate relationship, but just certain people in society. There are certain people in society that I'll tell people that's who you should avoid. There are people that, if you're a normal, regular person, there are people you need to avoid based on certain things that they say, how they think. There are people who you need to avoid. Why? Because they're like a black hole. They suck everything in. They suck out the life in the atmosphere. So it's like, But anyhow, hope I answered your question. Make sure you join the Discord, which is going to be down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. What? I said I'll sue you. No. Until next time, I will see you. Take care.